Oh.
Yep. Well, it's got to come out. I just got off the phone with the Texas Department of Agriculture, who informed me that there is a list of plants that I'm not allowed to plant in Texas, and one of them is the elephant grass. I am going to go up to the terrace because today I'm planting native grasses anyway on the terrace. I have to dig up that elephant grass and chop it and bag it and show them proof that I got rid of it. So luckily that grass it grew. It's made some progress, but now I got to pull it out and I can't use it for mulch. So lesson learned. I don't think there's ever a good time to have the government calling, but the timing really is about as good as it could get because I do want to use this. It's mostly buffalo grass, wheatgrass, blue grama, plains bristlegrass, little blue stem, and side oats grama. And then there's a whole bunch of other ones. But what I'm going to do is I think it's 8 pounds per acre. I need to look at the application rate and then infer how much I need for the terrace. It is 8 pounds per acre. Divide that by 8. Well, anyway, I have most of this bag left, so I'm going to use the whole bag for the terrace because the terrace is about 3,500 square feet and I would rather overseed rather than underseed. I'm not going to do a 24-hour soak on these because they just don't need it, but I do want to soak them because I'm going to add the Johnson Sioux into this mix. I really shouldn't have done this in my bedroom. This grass seed's super irritating for my allergies. Anyway, that's already done, so ship has sailed, but I'll do the rest of this mix outside. Let's get the Johnson Sioux, and this isn't going to take very much, but I'd rather do too much than too little. So we'll do 2 of these, because I don't have teaspoons and tablespoons. I don't know how many cups of water I'm going to use exactly, which is why I'm ballparking it. God, this is so inefficient. That'll be enough. The idea of running a drill with a mixing attachment is to fully extract all the microbes out of the Johnson Sioux compost. That compost is full of many different kinds of microbes, and it's especially full of fungi. A drill is not at all required, but I'm at camp, I got a drill, I got a mixing attachment. But before I can plant the native seeds, I have to rip out the elephant grass that the TDA says I am not allowed to plant. Didn't take long to plant, and it's not going to take too long to rip out. Okay. The canes that I planted were right next to the irrigation emitters, and almost all of them were dead. Apparently a viewer, enraged by some video that I produced, called the Texas Department of Agriculture in Austin and wanted something done about it. So, I guess they got their way. Let me know in the comments what you think about their activism. Now I have the list of banned species. It's not very extensive, but it's pretty easy to just run a quick check and make sure that I'm playing by the rules. And the motivation for that is avoiding the government. I don't want to have any further contact with them if I'm not the one initiating the contact. And I certainly wouldn't break the law and put it on YouTube if I knew I was breaking the law. Maybe this isn't elephant grass growing at all. All of these are dead so far. It's all sorghum. Although I've seen a couple of canes that have grown, but like this one sent out new growth and died. Meals on the Dust Ups Ranch are incredibly important. I try to eat as much protein as I can to build muscle and keep my weight in check. But not all protein is the same, and that's why I use Equip Prime Protein. Prime Protein is made from 100% grass-fed beef, and 1 scoop is equivalent to 4 ounces of beef. I've heard that the best time to take protein is either in the morning right after I wake up or within an hour of working out. And because I don't really want to wake up and cook a gourmet meal, using Prime Protein is a great way to get my day off on the right foot. Equip values transparency, quality, and customer well-being above all else. They're committed to sourcing the best possible ingredients because that is going to give you the best possible outcomes. The only reason you take protein powder is for your health. Shouldn't you take the healthiest option? Prime Protein is such a game changer for me. I know y'all will love it and can trust that it's the cleanest protein on the market. Equip is giving my viewers an incredible offer. Head to my link at equipfoods.com/dustups and use the promotion code DUSTUPS20 to get 15% off of your first order. Or even better, combine this offer with a subscription and take 30% off of your first subscription. Again, the link is equipfoods.com/dustups. The promotion code is DUSTUPS, and that'll get you 15% off of your first order. Or if you do a subscription, you'll get 30% off of your first subscription.
Here's a cane.
Yeah.
Of it. Oh.
Yep. Well, it's got to come out.
So you think if like a little root broke off, we could be looking at it popping up again?
That could happen. It's extremely unlikely. You might think I'd be upset ripping out the little patches of the elephant grass that did grow, but I'm surprisingly calm and sort of ambivalent about it. The grass wasn't doing that great anyway. It feels more like a quick hassle that I can just get it over with and move on. It took maybe a few minutes to pull it out, so if you want to know my actual honest opinion, it's just whatever, moving on to the next thing. I got plenty of challenges. I don't need to get hung up on this one. I took a photo of all the plants that I pulled, and I sent that photo to the TDA officer, and as far as he's concerned, the matter's closed. Now I can move on to what is supposed to be the task of the day, which is planting native grasses, and I really don't think anybody's going to object to me planting native grasses, but I know it's within the rules, so if they don't like it, they can go pound sand. Is just scrape along here. So you scrape just like this and just try to stay as close to here as possible. Some of these seeds are absolutely microscopic. So I'm literally just trying to like make a little hole like that and then cover it. I'm not trying to dig.
You can adjust my technique as we go.
Okay, I'll follow behind you.
All right.
Yep, just drop seeds one at a time. What's different about planting the grass seed instead of the trees and shrubs is that I have already planted seeds for trees and shrubs. Those are in the ground, and I'm trying very, very hard not to disturb those seeds that I planted back in May. A handful of them have already germinated, and probably 98% of them haven't even tried to germinate yet. The most common one I see popping up that is newly germinating is American licorice, but I mean handful. We're talking 2 or 3. But I'm thrilled to see the new germinations because it's both worrisome and depressing to only see Palo Verde and Rattlebush popping up when there are 42 species in the mix. People in the Facebook group have been very surprised by moringa seeds not germinating, and it goes to this obsession that people have with their favorite tree. Baobab, Texas ebony, moringa. I mean, a lot of those trees don't even grow in zone 8A. It's very trivial to figure out if the tree that you're suggesting is appropriate for where I'm at. I would estimate 70% of the time that people suggest their favorite tree, it won't even survive the winter. It takes 2 seconds on Google to figure it out. So if you're wondering, hey, why haven't you tried planting this tree? Type in USDA growing zone and then the name of your tree. You'll be able to quickly rule out whether it's a fit or not.
Kind of seems like dragging a finger along the ground might do more than using a shovel at all.
Yeah, maybe it's not a leader and follower kind of thing. Maybe just one person should be dropping seeds as they use their finger. You pick a row, I'll take a row, and
okay, yeah. I need to go get an ibuprofen, get something in my stomach so I can eat it. And,
Yeah, it's fine. I mean, it's the middle of the day. I don't mind taking a break, and we'll come back and get after it later.
my muscles are willing, man.
All
Doctor.
right, let me put this here, and this way it'll get shaded later. I peed on the ground, so hopefully it's going on that ground wire, not just the ground. And hopefully it'll shock me a bit more. Ah, there it goes. That's not very much of a shock though. That's an 8 kilovolt shock too, but it just needs better conductivity. I need to really add a lot of grounds.
Did you try touching the
yeah,
insulator?
I just did this.
I got really...
Like, it doesn't feel, like, it's not that bad.
No, but somehow I got a
good
whack. Maybe I was touching this and that and it was multiplying it. Yeah. Can't stop. It's like it's not unpleasant enough where you don't do it again.
I was gonna say, the way you're acting reminds me of me in high school.
You smell something bad and yeah,
that's pretty terrible.
Yeah, good. Smell this, buddy.
Wind's picking up. I'm just sitting here eating lunch, and a couple drops of rain coming down. There's a heavy sheet of rain just to the south. Maybe it's good news. We'll see. It's like this cell is coming straight for me. I'm really excited. I'm gonna go head up to the terraces and make sure I'm there to watch the action. And while I wait, I'm sure I'll find plenty to do. Hard to believe it's just an hour and a half later. Feels like a completely different day, different place. So we're all done up through the shovel. The rain's allegedly from coming over my shoulder, and while I do see rain that way, it looks quite a bit thinner than what the radar depicted. I think this is probably not going to be a rain event. This is just going to be me working not in the sun. Not what I would ask for, but you know what? It's overcast and it's the middle of the summer. I will take it, and now I can get some work done. I think this is going to be a lot more effective making these lines than what I was doing earlier. Because now, oh, there's some stuff on the bottom. A lot of this is settled. Maybe it's not so bad. The rain is coming back. There's just a little bit of drizzle. Well, 5 seconds ago it was raining, and now back to the sunshine. I think what little drizzle I got is over. But in spite of that, I'm glad I'm up here working and that I've been relatively comfortable, because it's made me pay closer attention, and I'm seeing things that I hadn't noticed yet. We got this millipede just chilling now that there's some moisture out here. And as I come along here, there's a lot of germinations that I haven't seen. So got this one right here. Got this germination I hadn't noticed. This Palo Verde is growing up right next to the rattlebush, and it's under the sorghum where a lot of this is taking off. So you can see this is in the shade of the sorghum, which I don't think is a coincidence, because where I'm finding these unexpected germinations is all under these plants. Here we've got a palo verde growing under a palo verde, growing under some sorghum with a little prickly pear growing out of the ground. I mean, I can't start screaming about the biodiversity yet, but it's definitely a good sign. And that's as far as I walked. It's not just that I want to see more germinations. I want to see more germinations from different species, because the complexity is a lot of what drives the security. Good morning, everybody. It is 5:58 in the morning, and the fact that I'm standing on the terrace is a clear symptom that the temperatures are cooling overnight. Even though yesterday when I was working in the sun, it was about 94. Just getting the overnight temps into the 80s and the 70s means that I can get a full night's sleep, which means that I can wake up and get in the field very quickly. I am motivated to not be in the sun more than I need to. Let's get these seeds wrapped up, because the clock's ticking. I mixed Johnson Sioux into the seed mix, and that should absolutely not be suspended in water longer than 24 hours. So I need to use these seeds and the inoculant I put on them right now. Couple of mistakes I realized I'm making. One is that I don't need to dig the whole line. I can do the same method I used with Jus and Tiago to plant seeds in one spot right next to the emitters. And then the second thing is I didn't make a paste. So what I'm doing is just pouring water until it looks like I've poured about 100 seeds. And then that way I know that they're by the water, and that I'll get seeds of all different sizes. It's pretty easy to use this tool just to mix up the water and pour it. When I get nice and low on the water, I should be able to go back to grabbing it by hand, but I should have made the paste. I got all the water poured out, mostly, and still have tons of seed left, so I hate leaving the terrace, but I'm gonna go back to camp and grab some clay that we have stored, mix this in, and then that way I can get this done correctly for the rest of the terrace. And there we go. Now that's good and gunky. Probably just need a little bit more. I'm surprised I haven't actually messed with this clay yet. It's rehydrating pretty quickly. Now I just got to drive with one hand. But before I go back up on the terrace, I'm going to give myself a little treat for making the right decision. Cold brew coffee. Good morning, me. I'm really wondering if I even need to dig. The reason I'm tempted not to dig is because seed balls made out of clay are a very common strategy, but they'll do better if I bury the clay. So more work, but better work. Oh my gosh, this is so much easier. I wish I did this earlier. I was Department of Homeland Security flying overhead. I didn't have quite enough seeds to do the whole thing. It looks like I overplanted, which if I have to overplant, definitely want to go towards overplanting. The seed balls worked out really, really well mixing it with the clay. So I think now, we now have a new standard operating procedure when we're planting seeds. We're using a pure clay mix to make the mud balls, and that way it's a lot easier to be consistent with the application. It went so much faster. I've got one 90-foot road left to do. That's not so bad, but I'm so happy that now I've got the grasses in, so that'll help. It's more shade, more temperature control, more microbial life. It's just better. And it's 8:54 in the morning, and I've already got a major accomplishment under my belt for the day, and the sun's not even that bad right now. I'm feeling pretty good about the progress for the year. That last 90 feet will get planted this week, and I am looking forward to showing you the full progress. My goal is to completely wrap up the work on this terrace that you saw in this episode, so that I can apply all the lessons, which is a nice way for saying mistakes and inefficiencies, that we can improve on that process as we move on to the next and much larger terrace, and hopefully get more and more desert forest growing in the most isolated spot in the state of Texas. If you'd like to contribute to the seed costs for the last 90 feet of the desert forest on this first terrace, you can chip in at the link in the description or scan the QR code that you see on the screen. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you in the next episode.